So Grudge Match is the new boxing comedy starring Sylvester Stallone and Robert De Niro, and when I first heard about this film I just saw a poster for it and saw Sylvester Stallone and Robert De Niro on the cover, boxing it out, and I was thinking, it was pretty good actually, but then I found out it was a comedy film, so I went to watch it anyway because why not, it just looks alright to watch, and so pretty much, it is a comedy film. And some of the jokes in it are pretty much not funny, but there is some bits in it that did make me chuckle a little bit, but I won't say it's a masterpiece of comedy, definitely not. The only thing I found remotely funny in it was Kevin Hart, and that guy's just hilarious, so I just laughed at him a bit. Sylvester Stallone and Robert De Niro are basically retired boxers who had a rivalry, and they never had the third big grudge match. So 30 years in the future, 30 years to the present day, they decide to come out of retirement and have the grudge match, and they're both 60 odd year old in the film and in real life, and basically the entire film's about them training for the fight. But the thing that just got me off about it is that it just kept going away from the actual fight itself and focused on different plot lines. So it focused on Sylvester Stallone and his old girlfriend trying to get back together and get things right, and Robert De Niro's character meeting his son for the first time and his grandson for the first time, and he obviously has family issues with them as well, and I just didn't like that, because it made me actually kind of forget about the big fight that it's building up to towards the end. Now the fight at the end, obviously I have to talk about, which was actually pretty alright. It was an alright fight, and the camera angles and the slow motion shots of the punches were pretty alright. Yeah, it could have been better, but it weren't that bad. It were alright. So in the end, with Grudge Match, I just felt a bit disappointed that it were a comedy film. I actually think if this weren't a comedy film, if it were a serious boxing film, it could have been a pretty good film as well. I actually think, and I know this might sound a bit mental to some people, but if they would have played the cards right, if they would have made it proper, this could have actually been, in my opinion, Rocky 7. Because I think Robert De Niro would have made a good Rocky boxing villain that he has to come out of retirement and fight against. Because I actually think that would have worked out pretty alright. But most of all, the jokes just fell flat in this film. It wasn't really that funny, to be honest. There were some bits that were funny. Most of the jokes came out of the fact that Robert De Niro's son's called BJ, and I think you can pretty much guess what jokes come out of that as soon as you hear it. But some things in the film were alright. The acting were alright. Sylvester Stallone were as good as ever. Robert De Niro were good, and the boxing was good as well. And the bits where people get knocked out. And the bit I like in particular where the Robert De Niro and Sylvester Stallone go to UFC event, and they basically just take the piss out of UFC, saying it's not a real sport or anything. And then a UFC fighter goes up to him, I don't know who it was, a UFC fighter goes up to him and starts challenging him, and Sylvester Stallone just knocks him out, and I thought that was pretty funny as well. So Grudge Match could have been a lot better than it actually was. So in the end, I'm not going to be too harsh. I'm going to give Grudge Match 3 stars, and I'm going to say it's a decent time. It's a decent time, yeah. So I want to know, if you've seen Grudge Match, please tell me in comments what you thought about it. Do you think it could have been better? Do you think it was good exactly how it is? Just tell me in comments, and thanks for watching, and I'll get more reviews to you as soon as humanly possible.